of all the jobbers, of all the, I don't know. Dab Savage is calling in right now. Let's add him to the call. And my last live interview of the evening, I am joined with a man down south. Dab Savage is joining me right now. What's going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing real good, man, and great to have you on the show this evening.
Hey, man, it's great to be here. I didn't come by myself. As you all know, I am the YouTube sensation, the ladies' temptation. 205 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal, Dab Savage. But I came with my managers tonight. We are flying as a cup. This is my main man, Money Mike. How you living, baby?
I'm chilling, man. How you doing there, Money Mike, sir?
Oh, I'm living good. I'm large and in charge. How you doing on this fine night?
Just living it up, man. Just enjoying life. Can't complain.
Well, you do have the most talented wrestler in the Southeastern District on your show tonight, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. How we doing?
All right, man. Dab Savage, let's go ahead and get.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about yourself, sir, and how did your wrestling career got started?
Well, I'm an interesting journey. As you all know, I'm Dab Savage. I started professional wrestling about 5 years ago. I trained with some guys. I trained with Dory Funk, and I've worked with several guys in my career, but that's not really important. The thing about me is I am a guy who gets out there, and, excuse me, what was that, Money Mike?
He gives the fans what they come to see.
That's what it's all about. Anybody can go out there and they can do shooting star presses and they can do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's about being entertaining, and Dab Savage is entertaining. And yes, I'm trained. Yes, I'm very well schooled in professional wrestling. And I pretty much, I had my first start, did my first little thing, and then I took off. And, Dab Savage is not just a professional wrestler. Dab Savage is a marketing genius. And, this is actually a treat for all you guys listening, because sooner than later, you're going to see Dab Savage everywhere. Not only am I a professional wrestler, but I am an actor. I'm on the big screen in Hollywood. So basically, I'm going to be the next Rock.
Tell them about the movie.
Yes, I've been in a few movies. This is true.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and talk about the movie, man. I know that was the reason that we had to reschedule, is because she did a movie. So why don't you go ahead and talk about that?
I did a movie with it was called Identity Theft with Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy, and I love professional wrestling, and that's my aspiration, is to entertain all my fans, your fans, all wrestling fans, on a week-to-week basis. But I'll take it how I can get it, and if about to be Dab Savage, Hollywood household name, and professional wrestling superstar, then what's that, Money Mike?
Then so be it.
Then so be it.
And when can the people expect this movie?
Well, I've got two coming out. I'm glad you asked there, buddy. I have two coming out. I have one coming out in November. It's called A Cry for Justice, where I play a muscular prisoner. Because and what am I, Money Mike?
A muscular prisoner.
Yes, very muscular. And then Identity Theft with Jason Bateman. It'll come out probably April of 2013. I just kind of play a kind of a biker guy in the biker bar, sort of a Money Mike, or not Money Mike. That's you. Sort of a Magic Mike kind of character. So, but you know what? We didn't kind of talk about acting. Let's talk about wrestling. This is what we're on. We're on wrestling radio. So let's talk wrestling.
Okay. With that said, do you have any upcoming shows you want to promote?
Yeah, I guess I'll promote wrestling. I worked last weekend with the Rock and Roll Express. Next weekend I'll be in Phoenix City, Alabama with DCW Wrestling. And then I've got a show the next night in Bainbridge, Georgia. I don't even know what it's called. Then I'll actually be working with Lex Luger coming up in Atlanta at the beginning of August. So I got a pretty stacked plate on my hands here, buddy.
Lex Luger, being well known and everything, what's that like? Just get the chance and opportunity to be in the ring with him.
Man, I'm like everyone else. I know wrestlers try to come on radio and try to come on interviews, and they like to drop the word mark. Like say, oh man, you're a mark. Here's the deal, man. When I grew up as a kid, I loved professional wrestling, especially being in South Georgia. I was a big fan of WCW. I got to see, all my guys, Sting and Ric Flair and Vader and all these guys, and yeah, you start as a fan, and so many guys, and I'll say this, I'm probably gonna get some. Here's a wrestling term for you listeners. I'm probably gonna get some heat for this one. Ooh, heat. But here's how I look at it. We all start off as fans. We all start off as marks. And as I've become more and more successful in professional wrestling, and I've moved on to bigger and bigger shows, and I get to work shows with guys that, that I grew up idolizing. Like within the last 2 months, I've worked shows with Rick Steiner and the Rock and Roll Express and Buff Bagwell and Bullet Bob Armstrong and Raven, and it's just one of those things. It's kind of cool. It all sort of comes as a catalyst. Like you get to work with these guys, but man, screw these professional wrestlers that come out here and want to talk about being marks and yada yada yada. You know what? Fuck you guys, man. We were at one time we were all wrestling fans, and to me, to be a professional wrestler and to work on the same card of guys that when I was in middle school and high school and watched professional wrestling, and that I was getting, I was watching these guys every Monday and Thursday or Monday and Friday or whatever. To be able to work on the same card, it's just an honor. So, man, I'm just riding the wave, bro. That's what I do.
And what are some goals you want to set as you go further in your wrestling career?
Dude, I want you to watch me every week on television. That's my goal. I don't want to be a guy that you saw at the flea market at Aunt Sally's house. You're like, man, he really put on a good match. That's not what I want. I want either Mondays or Thursdays when you tune in to television, I want you to see me, because I feel like I'm the most entertaining, probably the most charismatic wrestler that you're ever. Not probably, he is. Money Mike says, I am the most charismatic and the most entertaining wrestler that you'll see. In my opinion, professional wrestling lacks that. I know a lot of you guys that listen to radio shows are what we call smarks, smart marks, and you guys are so fixated on the Ring of Honor style of wrestling, let's go out there and let's do shooting star presses and let's kill each other and let's do these great moves and let's have a great match. And then you know what? That's really cute. But at the end of the day, it's all about entertaining. When we grew up watching wrestling in the 80s and the 90s, it wasn't about let's do a shooting star press on thumbtacks. It was about let's go out there and let's give the fans the best show. Let's give them what they paid for. And Dab Savage is that guy to give you and any of your fans out there what you pay for, and that is quality wrestling and quality entertainment, because that is what I am, a quality entertainer.
For those who just tuning in, you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. I am joined with both Dab Savage and Money Mike. I appreciate having you both here this evening. Do you consider yourself, or should I say for this, do you would like to go to Gut Check? Is that something you would be interested in?
I've done Gut Check. And I plan on doing it again next time I roll in Orlando. I did it in 2010, December 2010. Worked with Crimson or Tommy Mercer, whatever your name is. It was a cool experience, but I'm 2 years deeper into the game, and I believe that the next time I do win, and if I do gut check, I believe that I will dominate, and that you will see me on television.
What?
Money Mike, what do you think?
Well, I've been with this guy since the beginning, and before he even became a professional wrestler, he was embarrassing guys in high school. I mean, this guy outworks anyone he gets in the ring with.
Yes.
Makes them look like they just started.
Yes.
So if you want to come out and you want to see a professional wrestler, you need to come see Dab Savage, because the guy puts on a phenomenal show.
Thank you, Money Mike.
All right, and is there any wrestlers that you haven't had the chance to work with but would like to work with someday?
Yeah, obviously, of course, I could go off the list. I mean, independently wise, I've worked with some good guys. I've gotten to work with Tommy Rich. I've gotten to work with Glacier. I've gotten to work with Chase Stevens. But I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Jericho guy. I was always a huge Shawn Michaels guy. Man, it's not really. Dude, there's so many guys out there that are good, and that, obviously I would like to work with, but man, it's it's wrestling business is a whorish, selfish business, and it's all about you. So yeah, I'll work whoever, man, as long as it gets me in that golden door,
What is your thoughts on indie pro wrestling as it is right now?
It's dead. It's dead. Independent pro wrestling is a horrible thing to be in, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and make money. It is sad, Money Mike. What is it, Money Mike?
It's completely sad.
And
It's pathetic.
And I'll tell you why. Wrestling has been killed by MMA forever, but the thing is with independent wrestling now is, dude, if you have $3,000, you can buy you a ring, a sound system, rent the National Guard in our ring, and all of a sudden you're a show. And there's so many just bullshit independent wrestling shows. And the thing is, for the most part, I mean, when you're not Dab Savage, for the most part, there's not much money in independent wrestling. So you have these huge guys that drive 5 hours to go, put on a show. But yeah, they're leaving with $20 doesn't even pay their gas, and it's like, they want to give you shit. And the way I look at it, man, is professional wrestling should be fun, it's entertaining, and you just need to weed seed the BS. You need to weed and seed the horrible promoters with the horrible venues and the horrible rings and the horrible workers. And you also need to weed and seed these guys that have this, like, I'm independent superstar syndrome. Oh, yeah? 44 people in a flea market cheered for you? Hey, you know what? Congratulations. But at the end of the day, are you making any fucking money? No. So independent wrestling is dead because of two things. Independent wrestling and professional wrestling in general is dead because of MMA, and that's just because it's a more exciting sport. More people are into it, and it's quote-unquote real. And independent wrestling is dead because you have these douchebags that, because they'll blade their heads open and bleed in front of 22 people, think they run the scene. And it's not like that, man. It shouldn't be. It should all be about entertainment. When you grew up watching wrestling, when I grew up, when Money Mike grew up watching wrestling, it was all about entertainment. Dude, take your top stars in professional wrestling. Take Hulk Hogan, take your John Cena's, take your Rocks, take any of those guys. They're not going to do crazy stuff. It's about telling a story. I mean, like and I know you were probably a WCW mark as much as I was, but when, take Sting, NWO Sting coming from the Raptors every weekend. He'd come out and he would Scorpion Death Drop so-and-so from the NWO. Man, and by the time that him and fucking Hogan actually wrestled, you wanted to see that. You wanted to fucking see it because it was a year build in anticipation. And go back and watch the Sting-Hogan Starrcade match. It's fucking garbage. It's probably the worst wrestling match of all time. But it didn't matter. It probably sold 1 million pay-per-views because everybody wanted to see it, and they threw punches and clotheslines, and that was the match. So what I'm saying is what's killing professional wrestling is people put way too much effort into having that 5-star match or doing that really crazy move. But at the end of the day, it's all about entertainment, and you're not entertaining anymore because you're doing it for yourselves, not for the fans.
All right. Again, I'm joined with Dab Savage and Money Mike all the way down south in GA here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Why don't you go ahead and promote your links and Facebook, Twitter.
What do you think about what I just said, though? What do you feel about my opinion on that? Like, do you agree with that or do you disagree? I'd like to know.
As far as indie wrestling, I feel like to a certain extent that is not where it is right now. I just basically think that maybe, I don't know. I do agree with with a lot of your points. I definitely agree.
Right.
I agree. Indie wrestling, I don't know. The promoters, just the owners and stuff, it's just not what it once was, and it's a lot of shady promoters. So it's just.
Yeah, it's shady. Matters is.
This is Money Mike, and I just want to get back to something old Dab Savage said, and that was that, wrestlers, they're multi-talented people. It's not just wrestling. They put on a show. Take The Rock, for instance, and how great his acting ability was. Do you really think Anderson Silva is going to do what The Rock did? No.
Negative. Well, and it brings me back to square one, So many of you guys and so many wrestlers want to focus on the 5-star matches and OMG, he did a so-and-so. Screw that, man. If the fans care and you're into the story and it makes sense, then you don't have to kill yourself. At the end of the day, kayfabe, whatever y'all want to fucking call it. At the end of the day, you have to get up and you have to walk tomorrow. And you have to live your everyday life. You have to get up and do it again. So, you guys that are, spot monkeys that, get over by doing your crazy stuff, that's cute. Do a shooting star press on Saturday. What are you going to do on Sunday? And that's my whole mentality towards professional wrestling.
Good point, man. Good point. As I was saying, why don't you go ahead and promote your links, Facebook, Twitter, let everybody know. Go ahead and spread the word, man.
All right. Well, thank you, bud. This is Dab Savage, obviously the YouTube sensation, the Ladies' Temptation. 11 pounds, Money Mike? Yeah, 211. 211 of Rock Hard Steel and Sex Appeal. I am Facebook.com/Dab Savage. I'm also on Twitter as Dab Savage. And don't you worry, fans. www.dabsavage.com will be launched within the next 2 weeks. So just hang in there. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. And when the site is launched, you can be a part. You can truly be a part of the Savage Nation, the Sav Nation Army.
Yeah, make no doubt about it. Dab Savage, Savage Nation is the next big thing. You want to be a part of it.
Agreed.
Well, count me in, and I'm part of the Savage Nation, man. You going places, and that's why I like.
Well, I
to see.
appreciate it.
Before I let you go, before I let you both go, for that matter, I asked all guests to do this. It's like a station ID, it's like a voice drop. all you have to do is say your name, and what after you say your name, you say you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Okay, we're ready.
Go right ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fleas and ticks, dogs and cats, this is Dab Savage, and this is
Triple Threat Western Radio.
That's Money Mike, and we're telling you good night, baby.
That has to be one of the best station IDs I've ever heard. Great work, you two. Great work.
Thank you.
And,
Appreciate you having us on the show. Can't wait till next time.
Oh, most definitely. I'd love to have y'all back again in the future, man.
Heck yeah. Well, man, it was an honor and privilege, dude. Can't wait to do it again. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right, you two have a good night.
You too, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Dab Savage and Money Mike right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.